Okay, today I'm going to do a Caesar salad. This is a fabulous salad. It comes together pretty quickly, and it's easily our most popular favorite salad here. It can be enhanced. You can throw chicken or something on it if you want to make it a complete meal, but it's a really great accompaniment to almost anything. There's three kind of main steps to it. None of them are too tricky. One just has a bit more ingredients. Romaine lettuce is the main lettuce you use. Use a Cos or romaine. You can use the big one like this, or you can use the smaller ones. It's really important to make your own breadcrumbs out of some decent bread. It makes a huge, huge difference to it. We've tried before with cheaper bread, and lots of complaints at the end. So the bread actually is way more important than you think for the croutons. Croutons are super easy to make. And then we're going to do the sauce. And the sauce is essentially an egg yolk, some lemon juice, some garlic, some anchovies. You may not like them, but they really add a nice taste to it. A little bit of Worcestershire sauce, Parmesan cheese, again, super important that you just grind this, and then a mixture of olive oil and just like plain vegetable canola type oil. The olive oil gives it a tiny bit of more taste, but you don't want to overpower it with the olive oil. So we're going to start off, we'll make the sauce first, because then you can store that in the fridge. You could have that done way in advance. The salad is easy. You just take the leaves off and wash them if you have to. And then we can either cook the breadcrumbs, cut up the bread, and either cook the breadcrumbs on the stovetop or the oven, whatever you like. And then we'll be done. It doesn't take very long at all. Okay, we're going to make the sauce, and you're going to need a hand blender for this. It'll be the best thing. The hand blender will be the most convenient. And so we just put all the ingredients into this container for the hand blender, and then put the blender right into the jar, and mix it all up. Then we're going to pour some oil in and then mix that all up together, and it tastes really good. Okay, first thing we want is an egg yolk. I'm going to use a raw egg yolk. As long as you've got nice fresh eggs, this is totally fine. I've always used raw eggs. You can always coddle eggs or do something else if you're not sure, especially if you're immune compromised. But if you want to do a raw egg, the easiest thing is just to break it like that. You've got the egg and the yolk. Just go back and forth between it. You roughly get a nice little egg yolk there. That's the first thing that goes in. Save this where you've put the yolk, because that's good for an egg white omelette afterwards. Next thing we want is a tablespoon of lemon juice. So just squeeze some lemon juice in there. See if this gives us about a tablespoon. Yep, perfect. Okay, we've got our lemon juice, and add a bit more. Again, a pretty forgiving sauce. You can add as much or a little as you think. And especially one thing here, I've got some anchovies. I've just dried them on a piece of paper because they always come out oily out of those jars. Anchovies give it a nice taste. In the recipe it says, recipe is one I've adapted from Serious Eats, which is a great site, and it gives really excellent advice on things. And they've said 2 to 6 anchovies depending on your taste. I've used 4 here. I like the taste. It's just a salty taste. It's not really a fishy taste at all. Put in a few and see how you like it. But I've got the anchovies in there. Okay, a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. I'll use a tablespoon, but I'll use a third of it. A teaspoon, 3 teaspoons to a tablespoon. So I'll just put it in roughly a third. A bit more. Worcestershire sauce is good too. And then we're going to do some garlic. This is all going to get blended up. So if I just crush a couple of garlic cloves here, we'll do a couple of garlic cloves. Just roughly chop them because you're going to throw them in the blender anyway. I've got 2 garlic cloves in here, but 1 is fine. More if you want it super garlicky. And that's most of it. Now we're just going to put a bit of Parmesan cheese. This goes for a quarter of a cup grated. So you just get a little grater and grate it right in there. Here's what a quarter of a cup looks like. So grate in about that much. You don't have to be exact. You may want it more cheesy, less cheesy. Again, you'll get used to this as you go on. Looks like a quarter of a cup. And then we're going to get a blender, and we're just going to blend this all up, and then we're going to add the oils more slowly. Okay, hand blender just to go in there. Want to get that garlic and the anchovies. You want to get everything totally blended up there. You don't want any chunks in your sauce. All right, we want to have 1/3 cup of canola oil. And 1/4 cup of olive oil. Put in olive oil that's, you're going to taste this, right? So don't put in your cheapest olive oil. Put in something that's okay. Now, with this blender going, we're going to slowly add the oil. You see it's already thickened up a lot. Okay, now I've read before that blending olive oil can sometimes make it bitter, that you can do it. So I'm going to whisk this, take a chance and blend on a low speed if you want, but I'm just going to whisk it in, make it a little bit less. You can see that sauce is quite thick. It's emulsified nicely with the oils. At this point, have a little taste. At this point, have a little taste and add a bit of salt and pepper, whatever you like, but your sauce is essentially done and it can go straight into the fridge while you wait for the rest of everything. Okay, to make the croutons, I've just sliced up some bread. I leave the crusts on and then cut it across so you can have some around whatever size you like, really. Make sure this doesn't slip out onto my fingers. Then you're just going to cut them into pieces like that. Have a size you think is good, and then you're going to toss it with a bit of oil. You can use garlic oil too. Actually, garlic croutons are really nice. So if you want to put garlic oil with it, some salt and pepper, and grate a bit of Parmesan on there as well. You can either throw those in the oven at like 180 for I don't know how much, 10-15 minutes. Just keep an eye on them. Or sometimes if I don't want to put the oven on, I'll do what I do right now, and I'm just going to put them on a very low heat in a fry pan or a skillet, and with the same sort of stuff on it, and just do it very low until they're pretty golden. You don't want to be overcooking them because they'll get too crunchy, but they've got to have a bit of a crunch, and then they'll taste just amazing on the whole thing. So I'll do that. Okay, my breadcrumbs are all in there. Some have just fallen out. Put a bit of salt in. Salt actually tastes quite good with these. Pepper for sure. Coat them with a little bit of olive oil. You want them to have, we'll toss them around, but you want to make sure that most of them have a bit of oil on them. And grate the cheese in. This is all going to be done by eye, really. It depends on the amount of croutons you made, which will depend on how much you like in your salad, and also how much you decide how big your lettuce is, all that kind of stuff. So just play it by ear. Okay, the croutons are all done. They look pretty good, all nice and golden. Nice crunch, they have a beautiful taste. This is where you really got to use the good ingredients, because really decent cost lettuce, which is easy to get, the really decent bread for this, because everyone loves the croutons the most. And then, a simple sauce and and Parmesan, and it's a really, really great combination. All right, finally we have the lettuce. Romaine lettuce. Usually the outer couple of leaves can sometimes be a bit crappy. This one, they just have dark or discoloration or anything like that. Get rid of those. The rest of these look okay. The end piece is also very bitter, so just cut that out. And right in the heart there too, we'll get rid of that as we go along. Now, some people like to have long leaves, some have short. That one's a bit discolored. Usually I go for bite-sized kind of things. It's sometimes quite nice to have long ones. You just do whatever you feel like. We'll put them in a salad spinner. Just make sure we get rid of all the dirt. These cost lettuce often have dirt and stuff in them. As you get towards the top of the lettuce, it gets quite loose and kind of more chewy if it's bigger. So I actually start, as I get up to towards the top of the lettuce, I actually start to cut it finer because I find that it's easier to eat like that. And the last few bits at the top, I don't even usually get rid of them as well. So I'm going to throw that all over there. I'm going to throw it in a salad spinner, get it really dry, throw it in a bowl, and we're ready to put this all together. Okay, now the final step is just the assembly. For that we have our lettuce, which we have washed and dried. As dry as you can get it. And then the next thing to do is to put the dressing in. Put as much as you want. This dressing is usually almost the perfect amount for one big romaine lettuce. And toss it around because you really want that to touch on all of the lettuce without being too much there. So just a bit of a coat. I mean, it's a really nice sauce, but you just want to make sure it's not overdone. So this looks pretty good actually. The last thing then is to tip the croutons in, as many as you want. We're going to tip in most of it. Just mix those through it, and then put some Parmesan on top. A bit of pepper at the end. And there you go, perfect Caesar salad.